Welcome, everybody, to the Effortless Pain Resolution. I'm so glad to see you here. And if you're here, it's probably because you're sick of it. Yes, I'm sick of it too. That's why I developed this program, because I got sick of the pain and the injuries and not having answers and all that stuff as well. I'm so glad that you came upon this because I got some stuff for you today. So if you're concerned or curious about what is going to be an option for me that's going to stick, that's going to last, and that's going to be effective, look no further because here we are. So, a little bit about me. I am a certified personal trainer out of Arizona, as well as a certified medical massage practitioner. And I've been doing that, 18, 19 years now. So it's been a long time that I've been in the health and wellness industry. So for the past couple of years, 2 or 3 years now, going on 3 years, I discovered neurotherapy. And in neurotherapy, what I found is that missing link in the health and wellness industry, where number one, we're not treating symptoms, we're treating problems. And number two, we are getting down into the root of where all pain and injury and chronic conditions and diseases reside. And it all starts from signals in the nervous system and out of the nervous system. I have helped literally hundreds of clients work through their issues, no matter what it was, whether it was arthritis or bursitis or neuropathy or hip surgery, back surgery, it doesn't matter. Everything's a signal in and a signal out. And through reprogramming the nervous system to get those negatively trained pain patterns out, we can recreate brand new patterns that are sustainable and that will last. It's incredible stuff. So what happened really with me is I got injured when I was like 12. I was working out and, getting really, really heavy, crazy into it with pushing and bench pressing. And I want to be able to like lift that car up and twirl it on my finger. I wanted to do all sorts of crazy stuff. So I went overboard. And I started noticing by the time I hit like 15 or 16, I got severely injured. I started getting slipped discs in the neck, in the low back, arthritis in the hips. Like I can go on and on. And that's what inspired me to get into healing health and wellness. So I went to get into massage therapy at that time. And I noticed that a lot of what I was doing and a lot of what I was practicing and living and with my nutrition and with my movement and my exercises, things were going really well. And, I got myself to a place where I was like 70% recovered. 60, 70% recovered. And I was doing the same thing with a lot of my clients. But what I noticed is that there wasn't this like sustainability that I wanted to see that I knew was out there. The sustainability of how long will this last? Well, that was the missing link. And that's why I got into neurotherapy, because this is stuff that helps make everything last. All the treatment, all the exercises that you do, none of it goes in vain. It sticks. And that's what was missing. So in that realm, I put this program together, which encompasses 3 really important things. We want to reprogram the nervous system because that's where pain patterns and injuries happen. No matter what, you keep treating symptoms, you're going to keep getting injured. It's just that simple, or you're not going to recover. Exercise therapy. So that involves a lot of correct movement. So I don't care how much you can push or lift or how fast you can run. I care how right you can move. And it's a very unconscious thing that we do nowadays where we're not moving exactly the way we're supposed to. And that's not our fault. Life trains us that way. Life is stressful. It has a lot of things that we need to do and run here. And everything's about the goal, not about what am I doing as I get to the goal. And then we lose that intentional movement effort. And then the last thing is going to be permanent recovery. When we retrain the brain that it can recover the way it's supposed to, we can achieve permanent recovery. And this is where I want to talk about it. First of all, this neurotherapy concept really focuses on very simple but kind of complicated things in a way, because we really don't use them in our day-to-day, treatments, wherever we're going to get treated. We need to look at the root of everything that's happening, every injury and every condition. It's not just symptoms. The symptom, I need you to remember this one very important thing. The symptom is how something ended up. It's not how it started. You didn't just blow out your knee. You didn't just start getting headaches. When you got into that car wreck, God forbid, you didn't just get these bulge discs for no reason. It's because certain things in your body didn't do what they were supposed to, and that's your muscles. Your neuromuscular system is supposed to lengthen muscles, that's where they're at their strongest, and absorb stress. So if you get badly injured because of something, it's because they didn't do their job. And now we create this like chronic problem. We want to reprogram the nervous system because that's where all the information on how your body is moving incorrectly is stored. We want to create new healthy and permanent movement patterns in replacement of all those negatively trained patterns. And then that's what we're doing here at the last one, is remove those neural networks that's causing pain and injury. So what's happening right now? This is kind of like a little injury process that happens. And it's not supposed to happen, but this is what's taking place. We get injured. There's a duration of pain from injury leading to a stress response, and this stress response is key. Unfortunately, nowadays, our stress responses stay on. They're supposed to shut off after a little while. They only have one job: to recover, to repair, or to get you the heck away from wherever you are because it's an emergency. That's all it needs to do. It doesn't need to stay on constantly. After that, it reforms months or years later somewhere else due to trauma or a traumatic response. It becomes increasingly chronic, which means it gets worse and worse. And then the symptoms don't subside and the stress response is maintained, and now it's dominant. With stress responses, we get cortisol, we get adrenaline, we get all these hormones that break the body down, and they're not supposed to be in your body for very long. They're supposed to turn on and kind of shut off slowly and then go back into our relaxation response. This is what should happen. Injury with a stress response is going to happen. So a stress needs to happen to say, whoa, something happened, we got to fix it. And then you have acute pain with ranging severity. Obviously, if you break an arm, it's going to hurt a lot more than if you just kind of, stub your toe, whatever that may be. Reduction of symptoms and pain decreases over time. It's not supposed to get worse somewhere else. Now you have a reduced stress response. That means all that stuff, that adrenaline and that cortisol and some stress hormones that were activated to repair something need to go down in your body, and they should. Injury ceases to manifest as a new injury somewhere else, and the body can now fully recover. But it can't recover and repair if it's in a constant, like this stress response dominance. At this point, what's supposed to happen is that stress response is supposed to shut off after it's done its job and stay dormant until it needs to be used again. Again, that's what's supposed to happen. But what's happening now is when we get that stress response from an injury, it stays on. And there's reasons we're going to talk about here in a second. Before we do, this was my victim from before. Client, sorry. Don't take me seriously there. So what happened with her is she was a jogger, and she started out with knee pain, and it became severe. But then it started going into her hips and low back. So again, it ended up in the low back and started to at where it seemed to be somewhere around the knee. But here's the thing. If muscles around there are not absorbing the stress, it's going to start cascading elsewhere and teaching other parts of the body to shut off similarly as well. So we padded her up. We got her through the correct movements. And keep in mind, I only had a total of 4 hours of therapy with her. 4 hours in a matter of 12 days. You're going to have this device with you constantly, but you don't need to wear it constantly. You're going to get what she got basically in like the same day you get it. So that's kind of the whole point behind this. These are clients that stayed with me for 20-minute duration visits. That's it. And instantly there's results. Imagine having this thing with you as your own therapist at home. It's amazing stuff, guys. If this is for you, if that's because you are fed up with toxic medications and you want a solution that will last, remember sustainability. We want this thing to actually keep doing what it's doing without us having to be attached to it constantly. You're ready to invest some time for your health and your healing. You want a non-invasive and natural option. This totally is. And you are trying to avoid surgeries, or even if you have had surgeries before, that has no effect on how effective this thing is going to be. You are seeking alternatives from an ineffective past treatment. It could vary of many different kinds of treatments alternatively to meds and surgeries. And you're interested in the idea of therapy right at home. That's pretty awesome. Like having your own personal therapist there with you, not literally, but it almost seems like it is, because you have your device with you and you have this 6-week training program that you're going to be viewing, that you're going to be looking at your own pace, guiding you step by step with your specific injury on what has to happen or specific condition. So you know there is something more effective and healthier and safer to get out of pain once and for all, and you are ready to heal now. So I like this. Over-medicating is what's currently happening, possibly. Surgeries, I mean, this isn't really a far cry. They're cutting into you no matter how bad or good it looks. Waiting rooms, I've been in waiting rooms that were about that, heavy before. And then just mediocre treatments and therapy. That was good in the time being, and it felt like there was some improvement, but it kind of went backwards. Or you stopped going because of time or because of life or whatever happens, and next thing you know, you can't get that treatment, or you're not visiting as often as you have to. Again, that kind of goes back to the line of dependency on something. Do you want to depend on something forever or become independent? Basically, everybody benefits, guys. This is not an exclusive treatment for one thing or another. Whether it's you sprain your ankle, whether it's sports or athletic, injury that you had sustained, or if it's neuropathy or something chronic that needs to be reversed, because this does reverse chronic issues as well. Everybody can benefit. And as soon as we chat one-on-one, I'll explain to you how that works. So it is your body, and you're ready to be your own therapist for a change. Hopefully you are. Don't let that intimidate you. It doesn't mean that you have to learn how to be a therapist. Everything coaches you for a 6-week program on exactly what you need to do, exactly where things need to go, and exactly how you have to move. So what this program is going to teach you is how to resolve pain clinically right at home. Yes, clinically. The same stuff you're going to get times 100 at any other office. You're going to eliminate pain patterns for good, become resistant to injuries, which is key. You don't want that stress response on constantly breaking you down. You want to ditch the pain meds and future surgeries and do everything you once loved to do before because you deserve it. This is an interesting story too. Poor thing took about 7 to 8 minutes, I kid you not, from the waiting room to the office, to my office where I worked at the time. And dragging his feet, used the walkers. Basically, his arms became his legs because all the force was going into the walker for him to be able to move. And after 10 sessions at 20 minutes apiece, what is that, like 3.5 hours or something like that, we were able to get him to walk 10 steps without his walker. Like normal, I'm lifting up my entire leg when I could barely move lift my foot off the ground, because we're teaching all the right movements again. And the best way to do that is when you're triggering the brain with signals 500 times a second to do something. That's a lot of learning for the brain, but it's worth it because that's what it takes to get you out of this chronic stuck state, right? So that was an interesting thing too. Okay, so some of the cons of not having this and pros of having this treatment. System dependency. We don't want insurance companies necessarily, for example, dictating what we get to have and where we get to go and how we get to get it, right? We want the thing that works. Here we are. Time-consuming appointments, okay? Having to take time out of work and, do our thing just to be able to get to our appointment on time, as opposed to having it right with you at home. Ineffective or harmful treatments. A lot of treatments are very effective, but it just might not be the right timing for us at that point in our experience with our injury or our issues. No guidance or direction, not because they don't want to guide you somewhere, probably because our providers don't know where to send us at times. Chemical dependency, again, this is a big thing that I talk about, because when we take, a lot of medications over time, this is what's happening. Our nervous system and our nerves are now being changed. They're being altered, and they don't work the way they're supposed to work. So when we can put ourselves in a position where we don't any longer need that, we're kind of like detoxifying the nerve and the nervous system from all of this, bogging us down. We want to treat, and treating symptoms, not problems, is a big issue. A symptom is how it ended. The problem is how it started. Let's treat the problem. Pros, total independence from the dependency of the system, dictating where we go and what we can choose to have. Done at home, it is a self-treat, and it's 100% safe and FDA approved. This also provides customized guidance for your specific needs. Okay, so whatever condition or wherever this issue is taking place or we're feeling it, that's where we're going. Okay, we're targeting what you need specifically, and we will make a plan together on how to get that done. It's resolved by targeting the problem, not the symptom. Again, it's always in our nervous system. Everything's a signal in and out, everything. Best solution, hands down, to surgeries and medication. So how it works, it's in 3 phases. And each phase is 2 weeks long. We have an efficiency phase, so we have to talk to the nervous system and tell the brain what kind of information we want to put into it first. Then after that happens, we're going to strengthen the nervous system and the neuromuscular system together to communicate correctly and really create a strong, solid foundation there. Endurance is going to be the thing that we do last that makes everything we did last long, long, long periods of time. Permanent is what we want, and independence is what we want. Okay? So what I want you guys to do right now, apply. It is a free consultation. I'm going to be talking to you on Zoom for a half hour. Whatever questions you have, please bring them with you so we can talk about your specific issues or your specific needs. I'm going to have questions for you as well to find out how we're going to create this customized plan for you to get back to where you need to be in 6 weeks. Yes, 6 weeks. It's not forever. This is not a forever thing. This is to get you independent from your issue. I want to hear from you. Please call me, schedule an appointment, and we will talk soon. And I cannot wait to see what we are going to do with your resolution. I know what we're going to do with it. We're going to resolve it. So let's talk soon, guys. It was a pleasure.